Right, I'm actually really pleased to have another woman talking at Ignite this time round, which is brilliant because it never happens. So I'd like you all to welcome Dr. Kelly Page, who is going to talk to you about if I drive a car, does that make me a mechanic? Kelly.
G'day, how are we doing? We all right? Yeah, go for your life. All right, I'm going to talk to you tonight about if I drive, does that make me a mechanic? And I'm going to use an example of something to basically what is social media expertise. And that's really, I'm using the analogy of driving a car and being a mechanic when we're trying to discover what is a social media expert. This is a story about a truck, a car, my dad, who's a hero, and social media experts. Now, you might think, how are they all related? By the end of the talk, you'll see how they're all related. This is my dad, Douglas James Page, true blue, dinkum die Aussie. I love my dad. He's an amazing guy. Supported me throughout my life in my PhD, my mum, my sisters. Now, this is what he does for a living, or did for a living. He is a truckie, a truck driver. Now, a technical term for that is an articulated vehicle operator. Very fancy term, and this is a truck that he would drive across Australia. It's a Freightliner. Now, to give you an idea of how far he drove, so his experience at being a truckie, across Australia from Townsville to Perth, over 4,000 miles, that's one way. He did that hundreds of times throughout his life. So his experience as a truck driver is pretty big. To give you an idea of that for the UK, from Brisbane to Sydney alone is the same distance as going from Plymouth to Inverness in the Scottish Highlands once. He's done it hundreds of times. Now, he's very experienced, but he loves truck driving, just like we all love technology. He's got magazines, he's got T-shirts. I had a T-shirt as a kid that was actually had a bulldog on the front, and on the back it had built like a Mack truck. That's how much he loved being a truck driver. Now, he has had a few accidents, he's made a few mistakes in his life, as we all do when we're learning. Here's a few key examples of truck accidents throughout Australia and America. Now, when I summarise my dad, lovable personality, 30 years experience as a truck driver. He loves trucks so much, he's named our dog Hummer, after a military Humvee. Now, he self-promotes, jokes, stickers, T-shirts, and he's self-taught. But let's think about this. If I can drive a truck, does that make me a mechanic? Different knowledge. And this is really the impetus behind this talk today, because the knowledge is slightly different. And I'm going to give you an example of my dad as a mechanic. This is the family car that we had when I was a kid, a Volvo. Lovely yellow Volvo. Now, relative to this car, he tinkered on it because he didn't want to take it to a qualified mechanic. Now, often you would see our car like this on the side of the road, okay? My dad, great guy, he's a brilliant expert driver, but as a mechanic, he's got a different type of knowledge, but he tried, he experimented, he had a little bit of fun with the car. The difference between a driver and a mechanic is knowledge, in the sense where knowledge, experience, context of learning is different. It's not better or worse, or more or less knowledge, it's different knowledge. So let's take that and apply it to what really is a social media expert. Now, for the last 10 years, I've been researching knowledge of technology as part of the research that I do at the university. And it got me to think about this as a really good analogy for how we think about it. Social media experts, we're tweeting about it, and there is over 1.5 million entries through Google search results about the phrase social media expert. And it's all about what is an expert, 10 signs of a social media expert. This is the type of person. And more often than not, we base our understanding on their usage of social media. How many years have they been using it? How many years have they been using the web? But at the end of the day, usage as a proxy for knowledge is fatally flawed. Just like a driver has a different knowledge to a mechanic. So it's fatally flawed, but it's easy to measure. That's why we think how many people have, how many followers they have on Twitter as a social media expert. The difference is the type of knowledge they have. How they acquire that knowledge is different, and the scope of their knowledge. Is it technical, like a mechanic, or is it more general, like the driver of a truck? So today I say to you, if someone comes up to you and says, "Hi, I'm a social media expert," ask yourself, are they a driver or a mechanic, or actually, are they still learning? And that's where we come back to a very, very core from Socrates, quote, "True knowledge exists in knowing that you know nothing, and that's what makes you the smartest of all." So, thank you very much.